I called one time. There was a guy. I don't know if it was Fordham, if it was Columbia, but I like listening to college reading. And I called this one guy up and said, you're really good. You're really good at this. And he had a very natural way. And I'd love to be able to go out and have some kind of a, I don't know, I don't want to say mentoring, I don't know what, scholarship program to get new people, new meat, and more women. And more women. And I would have shows with older people talking about stuff that older people like. But as long as you're good at it, get ready, slam on the brakes. Here's Michael in New Jersey. Michael is for abortion. Is that correct, Mike?
You got that right.
Hey, here goes the show. There goes the show. Oh, man. Oh, just stick a fork in it. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay.
Let us have it. Abortion.
A liberal woman has a baby, right? She preaches to the baby that all of her liberal ideas. She then sends the kid to school where he starts the indoctrination at probably elementary school.
And he's a good guy.
He moves on to high school, and then high school constantly being indoctrinated. Then if he has somewhat of a brain, he goes to college where they really indoctrinate him.
What do you mean indoctrination? What is indoctrination? What is that?
Okay. When indoctrination means all the liberal philosophies, all the liberal ideas.
Be indoctrinated in conservative ideology as well?
No. When they go to school today,
my question is, can you be indoctrinated into conservative ideology?
Yes, if you have it.
So indoctrination is not a bad thing. It's bad if it's lit.
Are you going to let me talk?
Oh, it's you again. You're the one who told this guy's great. He gets all pingalo and gets. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay.
I just hope you have your thought a little bit better, cobbled together than you did last time. And by the way, you can't get upset when somebody asks you a question. You don't like that.
You don't let me answer me. Lionel, stop talking and let me answer.
When you talk to people and you enjoy
Lionel, you want to hear me?
Seriously?
If you would stop talking.
You really would? Do I want to hear you?
Blah.
Well, what I want you to do is I want you to tell me.
What I want you to do
is let me ask you a question.
Blah.
Michael, this is not going well.
Okay, so stop
You can't
talking.
get upset. I'm asking you a question about what you think.
All right. What I think is there are many more liberals seem to be than there are conservatives.
How do you know?
They want to kill their babies.
Why do you say?
Because I see in the cities, look who they voted in as mayor.
All right, then.
New York City, if you go to other places.
Are we going to draw Spidey Man?
You go to Amish country, you're going to see less.
Are we going to draw
These big cities seem to have liberals.
from Baby Shark?
If they want to kill their children,
Why do you think that is?
Spidey Man?
if they want to do it and cut down the number of liberals, I want
Baby Shark?
Why do you think that?
I'm going to keep talking as long as you are.
Or Minecraft?
Why do you think big cities have so many liberals? Why do you think?
Why do I think? Because they're indoctrinated to have these liberal ideas.
I think we're going to draw from Spidey Man.
Take place more in big cities than, let's say, small cities.
Abortions and conservatives have procedures.
Now, my question is, why is there more indoctrination in big cities that are pro-abortion?
Oh,
Why is there
yeah,
more
Spidey
liberal
Man.
indoctrination in big cities than in smaller cities?
But the liberals have abortion, so if they
Why
want
is that?
a population, let them.
Why is that? Why do you think that is?
Because they're stupid, because they're brainwashed, and because
Why are they stupid?
So let them have the abortion.
But why is that stupid?
Conservatives
Gotta
have
find,
My question is, why is abortion stupid?
let's find an image that,
stupid.
let's find an image that I could color in today.
Let's cut down on the police department.
All right, we'll do this one. Spidey Man in the woods. Those look like pine trees in the woods.
Being women cannot be women, and women cannot be
What if a
men.
man wants to become a woman? What's wrong with that?
As long as he doesn't spread it to other people.
How do you
Whatever
spread?
you want to
How do you spread?
do it.
How do you spread?
For example, you have these things where they have the gay time in the schools where they start reading kids stories.
Would you have a problem with there being a story in public school that said that being gay is wrong? Do you have a problem with that?
If they're half naked and they're pushing their agenda,
Would you have a problem in public schools if there was a class that said that being gay is wrong? Would that bother you?
no. But not they should.
So indoctrination's okay, so long as it comports and complies with your conservative ideology. So it's not indoctrination. So you don't mind a public school saying that being gay is wrong. You got a problem.
You can talk as much as you because you're a selfish individual.
Why am I selfish?
Another person. You are selfish,
Why am I
Lionel.
selfish?
Because you're in love with your voice and you won't keep
I'm
quiet.
trying to ask you a question. If you don't
You are a
answer, you
selfish.
just want people to listen to you.
Like, no, but you don't shut up because you're in love with your
But you
voice.
never, but I'm asking, if I love my voice, why am I talking to you?
Wow, you hear this?
I'm asking
You hear this show?
you fascinating, but you won't answer my question.
You hear this interviewer?
Well, because I'm interrupting your
This interviewer is clowning his caller.
You would stop talking. I listen to me. I would stop talking and listen to you, but you won't do that, will you? Hello?
Let me ask you a question. Stand by for a second. Gary in Millville. Gary, okay, yeah, I'm not going to touch it. Gary in Millville. Gary, you're on with Michael in New Jersey. Gary, go ahead. Talk to him because he doesn't want me to talk. Go ahead, Gary.
Well, I don't live probably in his part of New Jersey. I live in rural southern New Jersey.
Go ahead. Ask him what it is. He doesn't want me to talk.
You know, I think I am an ultra-conservative. I consider myself that. But sometimes people gotta just live and let live and not get so involved.
You mean like Michael
My
does?
children.
Like my
My moderator is asleep tonight.
In school still, and I didn't like what they were
My moderator is asleep tonight.
Which one?
You're not gonna change.
So it's off
I put them in a Christian school.
off duty.
What's going on in the Christian schools? Because I know of people.
Well, listen.
Even the Christian schools are coming that way. Now, let me ask you a question. You're a conservative and I'm a conservative. I'm an ultra-conservative. Means I don't want to reproduce. I want, hey,
I don't care.
I want conservatives to reproduce because little by little they are starting to outnumber us. I'm against killing everyone. If liberals want to kill their children, let them. Well, if I'm not doing it, they're doing it of their own free will.
Gary, what do you think about that, Gary?
All right?
Well,
If they
I
want to
think with abortion, quite frankly, it's I feel that someone should be able to get one simply for the fact that people used to die when they could. I'm older
you
than
agree with me. You agree with me.
the other thing is,
We got the crystal clear
abortion.
video.
Problems with it. Well, when you go to your awards,
We finally figured out which setting we got to set the camera on.
No, you
Finally figured out which setting we got to set the camera on to get crystal clear video.
That's not what
You both agree that abortion should be legal.
No, that's not what he
To get high definition crystal clear video.
Let her have it.
No, because
High definition.
you want to kill liberals.
No, I wouldn't force any.
You're a homicidal maniac.
I
Ideologically.
would fly her to the abortion center.
Michael, do you have any friends? I'm curious about this. Do you have any friends?
Yes, but they let me. They don't keep talking the way you do. Other friends won't shut up because of their own voice.
Okay. Do your friends find you amusing?
No, I have
I
friends.
understand that.
Conservatives, and you know what? They're people that I have friends with are people who will listen, and I'll listen to what they have to say. But they don't keep talking like a blabbermouth Lionel. They hear what I have to say, and I'll listen to them.
Michael, stand by for a second because Bill in Virginia would like to weigh in. Bill is a gay man in Virginia. Bill, what do you think about that? Go ahead, Bill.
I'm not all for abortion, but I think a woman, if her life is in danger or the child is in danger, I think then there should be a decision made as to do the same.
But Bill, you're a gay man, correct?
Right.
Now, Michael doesn't like you because you're gay. He doesn't want you spreading your ideology.
Oh, well, let me explain that. First of all, I'm not a normal gay person. I voted for Trump twice, and I removed my colors from the flag because I don't agree with the gay society and all this transism.
Lionel, you made yourself look foolish because you put somebody on the phone who agrees with me.
I didn't.
You have to
No, not really.
screwed up, Lionel. Face reality.
No, I didn't put somebody on to disagree with you. I wanted to put somebody on who finds you interesting and wants to talk to you.
But no, but he agrees with me. Everything.
And that's fine. There's no problem with that.
He agrees. Bro, you have to get someone who maybe.
Bill, do you think you were born gay, or did you change sides, so to speak?
No, I was born gay.
What do you think about that, Michael?
Because I ask straight people, when did you turn straight?
That's a good point.
You always know what you are.
Michael, do you think that gay people are born gay, or do they adopt it? What does a conservative think about that?
I have no idea, but whatever it is, they're happy being gay. Let them. I just don't want the gay agenda being rammed down regular people's
What about
throats.
the heterosexual agenda?
Why are you gay?
No. Do you mind if the heterosexual agenda is rammed down someone's throat?
Oh yeah.
Well, no, that comes normally. I don't know
Painting the
about you,
pine
I don't
trees
know.
green.
I don't want to have sex with a man.
No.
Lionel is geeked out. Do you want to have sex with other men?
Now, Mike,
Is that what you wish?
You said you don't mind, you don't want to have gay agenda rammed down someone's throat. Okay, fine. So that's, now if somebody were to stand in front of the school and to yell that heterosexual sex is the only way to be, which one could say that's heterosexual propaganda, you wouldn't mind that.
You know, you'll make yourself look bad.
No.
Well, that's not the reason for that. People have always put heterosexual sex for me.
Bill, what do you think about that, Bill? Hang on a second. Bill, what do you think about that?
Well, I was born. I mean, no, I wasn't born. I was raised Catholic. I was an altar boy. I gone to church, and church is what taught me a lot of things about judging. And I was always told that God does not love me because I'm gay. I will never make it to heaven. So therefore, I've kind of given up on religion because if God is true, He will give me divine intervention, which has never happened, or He will present Himself to the world as that I am your whatever, and we should start doing things better.
Michael, what about that? Michael, you got a problem with that?
Yeah, I kept quiet while he spoke because I was hurt.
That was true. We heard that.
Your
Well,
parents.
Michael, it's my show, and there's this thing. Michael, there's this thing. This is called my show, Michael. This is called my show, and I'm the captain of my show. And what I say goes. And I find you fascinating.
Does he keep his mouth shut to hear the?
Okay, all right. Thanks so much. Hey, Bill, listen, thank you, my friend. And by the way, one thing. Let me ask you a question. What is the biggest misconception about gay conservatives? Are there any?
Yeah, there are. The guy that was running here in Virginia was what's his name? He was running against the black guy who wanted to shoot people in the head. He was gay.
That's a unique way of describing the event. One of the things I find so interesting, you brought this up, is that when I cannot believe at any time that gender, I mean, you might say about gender, that's a different story, but the people that you are attracted to, this is something I think that you, right, but this is not something that you ever, during the course of your life, affirmatively make the decision to follow. It's not like being a Republican.
Right.
And that to me seems,
Well, but the whole family used to be Democrat, and I used to vote across the table because I always liked to vote for who I thought deserved the job.
right.
I have to have a party. That's
Me too.
like a George Washington plan or not have party.
Me too. But the question I have though is that there are people who believe that gayness or sexuality can be somehow, that can change your opinion by virtue of some kind of therapy, whatever. What do you think about that? I forget the name of that. Conversion
therapy?
Yeah, what do you think about
Oh, I think that is totally wrong. And there's so much bad things that happen. I've met people in conversion therapy. They would beat you, and some of them would even sexually abuse you.
Oh, not good. But assuming there was a non-physical, non-violent, non-sexual conversion therapy, I always thought that there should not be laws that prevent that. If you want to go do that, you're entitled. Anytime you hurt somebody, or
Yeah.
that's
You should be forced.
right.
You should be forced like a lot of Catholic people would adopt their children and send them there like boot camp.
And if conversion therapy works, can I take somebody who is heterosexual and make them gay by some type of stimulus? Or could I convince them about the benefits of it? No, I'm dead serious about it. Because I still think people have this idea that, listen, if these people cannot make up their mind, if they have no say in this, I really can't help hate them. So I have to argue that this is a persuasion. I really think that's kind of part of it. But to me, intuitively, it makes sense. Nobody ever elects to be gay. And frankly, nobody cares one way or the other. It's what you do with that. And by the way, most, as you know, most sexual abuse of children of people are from, quote, heterosexual. Because there are more people who are heterosexual than gay. I didn't say that. Number two, whenever there's any children involved, or I don't want to bring up animals, but it's a different story, there's no such thing as a homosexual child predator or a heterosexual child predator. Children are off limits, period. There's no such thing as sexual preference. It's like if I call somebody having their way with a goat, and you say, well, it's not a ram, it's a ewe, is that a sheep? I don't know what the name of it is. I mean, it makes no sense. And one of the reasons why I think we need to address, Bill, is that we don't talk enough about human sexuality. We speak a lot in terms of it being punitive. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, because it's all over TV, but nobody wants to talk about it in public.
Well, Bill, I want to thank you so much for being with us, and thank you. And Michael, I want to thank you. You're always welcome. I find you delightful. I find you effervescent, kind, spirited. I enjoy.
So I chose to do that picture, that image, instead of some from Minecraft and some from Baby Shark.
And if you believe that, you're out of your mind.
Because I'm in the Spidey Man mood tonight.
Hi everyone, Ernie and S is here. I want to take a moment to talk to you about something truly special. Shriners Children's. For more than 100 years, they have helped over 1.5 million kids with complex medical issues receive the most amazing care anywhere. Here's Chloe's mom and grandma with more on her story.
Chloe's 9. She was born with a bilateral tonsillis and palate. We're 7 surgeries in. We'll have anywhere from 10 to 20 surgeries by the time we're done. She has never let anything get her down. We have supported Shriners for years. Never did I imagine that my grandchild would need Shriner services. That's why Shriners is so amazing. It allows people who can't afford care for a cleft and palate patient to be able to take and get some care.
Okay, I'm calling on 77 WABC's audience to help provide hope and healing by donating to Shriners Children's. Call 1-800-276-8007. That's 1-800-276-8007. Or go online to loveshriners.org to give.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Cop Talk with Captain Ed Lemets and Detective Kevin Schroeder.
Today's guest is retired NYPD Sergeant Jack Cucci.
I grew up in Brooklyn in Canarsie, went to South Shore High School, went to LIU for college.
We're coloring this image and listening to a radio show.
Fireman, something like that. I followed his advice, took the test, and it all began.
So where'd you come on the job?
Came on in 92, got promoted, became a sergeant. Then when I became the crime sergeant, when you're really looking for the guns and weapons, what particular section did you work? I went in as an FIO, field intelligence officer, still connected to the 70 precinct. Soon enough, 9/11 hit, and then I went into a unit called the TIU, which is Terrorist Interdiction Unit, and we dealt with putting informants into active cells in and around the city. Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. The Other Side of Midnight with Lionel.
Yeah.
I'm trying to arrange a broadcasting of an exorcism. I'm still working on this. You have no idea. If anybody knows of one, I won't get in the way. I have to see it. have to see. I'm serious because this is one of the things, and I'm talking to the management to see if there's any way I could do this. If we could put the word out, I'd like to just cover it. Won't get in the way. I just want to see this, and I want to be at a place where you get the call that says, "Hey Tony, yeah, grab your stuff. Yuri, grab your stuff. You got an exorcism. Get in the station wagon. There's one going." And I'm going to walk in and say, "All right, where is he? He's over there." Okay. Now, how do you know he's not crazy? Well, they do share a lot of traits, but I'm going to put him through some tests. Give me the garlic. No, that's the Dracula. Oh, whatever. Give me the cross. Hold the cross up. Did he react? No. It's not good. What else should we do? Hey, are you the devil? Yes. What would you say? So you don't understand something. All my life, I'm fascinated. Everybody wants to talk about the satanic. Please tell me, where do they meet? Can I watch this? I'm not going to convert or whatever. I'm dead serious. I want to know where this is. So I'm working on that one. Let me know. Rusty in Queens. Oh, Rusty's going to put the nail in the coffin on this one. Rusty, you're on the other side of midnight with Lionel.
Yeah, hello, buddy. Listen, Trump did the best thing. He made the states decide what.
No, Trump didn't do that. The Constitution did.
All right, so what's the big holler?
That's a great point.
I'm gonna make your vote on it.
All right, Rusty, that's it. Rusty has a unique way of doing it. Rusty. Imagine if you walk in and, as a joke, you say, "Hey, listen, I have to have this brain surgery, and it's an anesthetic. It's just probably the rarest. I got the best neurosurgeon for you. Yeah, come on in. This is Dr. Rusty." I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I love the man. Because with that voice, nobody would ever take him seriously. Couldn't he, rob a bank? You know what I mean? Would anybody... All right, let me get this one out of the way. Star. What is it, Star? Abortion, yes or no?
Sir. Everyone is touting the cause of abortion since Roe versus Wade. It became an anything,
Anything?
Yeah.
Is it anything?
Yeah, you had 52 million abortions since Roe versus Wade to the current 2025, basically. Nobody talks about the reasoning behind how abortion in general got started.
I think we know one person I like to talk to is that old Margaret Sanger, and the reason what she was actually trying to accomplish. Hey, wasn't that great? Nothing like a couple of great abortion calls to pick up the spirit of the show. Hour number 3 coming up, and watch Lionel try to salvage what was left of a lot of fun on the other side of midnight with me, Lionel.
77 WABC's Staten Island law firm of Anjulia and Gentili John time is 2:59.
The Staten Island law firm of Anjulia and Gentili, helping people just like you for 40 years. Walk with confidence. Call 718-816-0005 or visit aglawnyc.com.
This is New York's talk leader, the crown jewel of talk radio. WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays. News first at 59 past the hour. 77 WABC News starts now.
Mostly cloudy skies on this Wednesday, November 19th. Good morning, I'm Lisa Ritchie. The Senate has passed a measure allowing for the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files without a vote. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer successfully passed unanimous consent, which means the bill will automatically pass once it's delivered to the Senate from the House.
Senate has now passed the Epstein bill as soon as it comes over from the House.
Earlier today, the House passed the bill to force the DOJ to release all of the Epstein files by a 427-1 vote. Only Republican Clay Higgins of Louisiana voted no, claiming the bill would harm innocent people swept up in the investigation. So who should be very afraid of the Epstein files being released?
Noam Layton tells us.
New Yorkers say they've been watching all the workings around the release of the Epstein files, but are unsure about what new information will be released.
Clearly, there's more. They would have been released a long time ago.
I guess, I assume they would be releasing the juiciest stuff first to get people's attention.
And some in Midtown wonder if the Justice Department has been slow to release the files in a bid to protect some lawmakers and Hollywood folk.
Oh, they probably figured out something to redact something and, cover it up.
Noam Layton, WABC News.
Treasury Secretary says President Trump's proposal to issue tariff checks to Americans will first require Congress to pass legislation. Mark Mayfield has.
Earlier this month, the president floated the idea of issuing a $2,000 dividend generated by tariffs on imports. During a recent interview, Bessent echoed the president's claims of addressing affordability and said everything is on the table, while noting that the checks will have an income limit and need legislation. While there's no clear timeline on plans for the payment, Bessent said President Trump is all about solutions and redirected attention to policies including no tax on tips, Social Security, and overtime. I'm Mark Mayfield.
A federal judge says ICE must release a Bronx high school student who was detained nearly a month ago. The judge ordered the release of 16-year-old Joel Kamas, who was picked up October 23rd despite officially having special immigrant juvenile status, which provides a path to permanent residency for abused or neglected children. New York City is taking its first steps to install public e-bike battery swapping stations. Lisa G explains.
The city's Department of Transportation plans to install battery charging cabinets at 25 locations in neighborhoods with the highest delivery traffic. FDNY Commissioner Robert Tucker says it's part of an effort to prevent lithium-ion battery fires, with each cabinet equipped with compression features, real-time battery health monitoring, and automatic alerts. The DOT will gather feedback on site selection, design, and implementation, with plans to install the first cabinet in 2027. Lisa G, 77 WABC News.
Internet gambling is setting a new record in New Jersey. New stats from the state's Division of Gaming Enforcement show Garden State gamblers wagered more than $260 million online in the month of October. That's more than the previous record of $248 million that August. Atlantic City's 9 in-person casinos also did well, with revenues rising more than 12% last month to the tune of over $234 million. This holiday season, help the 77 WABC Radio Foundation to feed those in need. Go to WABCFoundationCares.com. Join 77 WABC, AARP New York City, the Police Athletic League, Brisketti's and D'Agostino Supermarkets, and Nationwide Imaging Services as we deliver Thanksgiving turkeys to more than 5,000 families across the city. On November 22nd at 10:30 a.m., the 77 WABC Thanksgiving Trolley rolls out at the Police Athletic League Harlem Center, giving back to those in need. Go to WABCFoundationCares.com. 77 WABC Cares. In sports, the Jets are making a change under center. Head coach Aaron Glenn has benched starting quarterback Justin Fields in favor of backup Tyrod Taylor. Your forecast overnight, mostly cloudy skies, a few scattered showers with a low of 39 degrees. Later today, calling for morning showers and then partly cloudy with a high of 48. Thursday, mostly cloudy skies with a high of 49 degrees. We have mainly cloudy skies right now outside of our Midtown studios. I'm Lisa Ritchie. Remember, the news never stops at WABCRadio.com.
Listen to Dominic Carter every weekday at 3:55 p.m. for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Dominic's Final Thoughts. Dominic gives his insightful, most important final thought of the day on topics affecting our community, our nation, and you. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Dominic's Final Thoughts. Weekdays at 3:55 p.m. on 77 WABC. The views and opinions expressed by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the policies or positions of WABC Radio, its management, or its sponsors. This is the Other Side at Midnight. They're running a strange program, y'all, with Lionel.
All right, Lionel, with you, this is the other side of the night. I went into the coffee room. You know, when you work this particular clock, by the way, that's radio talk for the clock, the wheel, you know? Like, how long do you have on? Sometimes, in some stations, my God, you don't even hit it till like 10 after. You can go out, you know, do a car wash, take a sandwich, come back. Not here. I mean, you run out, so I have to have coffee. Have coffee. So we have this wonderful kind of a Keurig style thing, and this machine is in this perpetual, heating up. It's like heating up. You've been heating up for the past, and I'm doing everything I can. But come on, I need coffee. That's my drug. That's it, and I need it. Another thing I need, which is driving me crazy, is I have had a crack. I very rarely have this. A crack in my lip. And I'm putting this stuff, kind of a lip balm, to the point I'm addicted to this jazz. So I'm miserable. I've got no coffee because this machine is perpetually floating around, doing brewing or heating up or something. My lip is killing me. And I've got this old cranky guy screaming at me about abortion. Can you imagine? By the way, you know, I have this. You know how they have a bucket list? They're like, I want to go. I don't have a bucket. I do not have a bucket. No, sorry. Nothing is really like, I have to Yosemite. No. But I have a shoot-me list. And one of the shoot-me list is that if ever you see me do something like this, you shoot me. Like, for example, white socks with Birkenstock. Tell me. Right there on the spot. Boom, right there. No problem. I'll sign the waiver. I understand. But if you ever see me really talking to myself, and I don't mean just like saying, no, that's kind of like mumbling. But I mean just talking to yourself. Shoot. But more importantly, if you ever hear me calling up a talk radio show at 3 o'clock in the morning, arguing about abortion when nobody else is, do me a favor, right behind the temple. It's okay. No problem. I understand it. This is called miserable. There's this wonderful Cuban kind of a West Tampa term, pesado, which is like bitter, like a lemon, like you're just miserable. Who in their right mind, seriously, honestly, there's two subjects, capital punishment, and it's kind of related, and abortion. I mean, who in their right, dear God, what are you going to say that I haven't thought of? Tell me, what are you going to say that I never thought of? And how about that Trump screaming at that ABC person, little piggy? He said, you disgust me. I mean, he is, only Trump can get away with it. He brings in Mohammed bin Salman, right? And he brings up Khashoggi. Come on. This is not the time for play. I mean, seriously. And Trump says, you're gonna lose your license. I'm gonna get rid of your license. You can't do that. Nobody else can say that. But see, Trump does it, and I love it. Because Trump can say that. I absolutely, positively love it. And I want to also tell you something. And please, I'm not trying in any way there's nothing funny about the Epstein files, but would you please stop it? Does anybody honestly, seriously think, what are you going to get to the bottom? What? How about Larry Summers? What? How pathetic is he? And he's sending, like, little boy questions Epstein. She thinks she likes me. She doesn't like me. This is sad. Nothing's gonna happen. You know why? Want me to tell you why? Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. What happens is because the issue is now with the Congress. The issue is with the DOJ. That's where the stuff is. That's where the issue is. Let's go back to the phones. This is going to be fun. I'm loving this. By the way, Yuri's answering the phone calls. By the way, if you call, remember, he's very new. Yuri has a bit of a hearing problem, so yell as loud as you can when you call. As loud as you can. He's very funny about that. He doesn't want to admit it. He can't really hear you right now. He doesn't want me to let on. So just as loud as you can. He'll appreciate it. And just when you think, I think I'm yelling too much, no, louder. Believe me. And the reason why he's important because he's part of a government program, kind of a training thing, and we get all kinds of tax credits. So listen, you don't get the best, but he's a great guy. Just yell. Silas on Staten Island. Silas. You're into this at Midnight with Lionel.
Yeah, I know one of the women who worked with Epstein, she tried to accuse, a prominent lawyer here, and then found that she was lying. How do we separate the women who are just going there?
Now let me ask you a question. Let me try to break this down.
To someone who's really
You said,
accused.
hang on. You said there was a woman, please don't, no names. You know a woman who wanted to identify or accuse a prominent lawyer, and it turned out she was lying. You know what you're saying?
Yeah, they went through the trial, and
They went through a trial? They went through a trial? He was charged?
Okay, well,
let it go. Let it go. So your question is, how do we ferret out, filter out, get rid of those cases where people are making false allegations?
No, the ones who are saying they were abused and they were really there for money.
But I just said a false allegation.
As opposed to someone who's really being abused wants to get out of there.
So wait a minute, let me ask you a question. Are you saying you don't want people to be able to collect money for their...
No, I'm not saying. I'm trying to say how do we separate the ones who are really being abused and have been kidnapped as opposed to the ones who are just prostitutes and going there for the money?
But you have to... Well, one of the things is I would imagine... Well, first of all, you do realize that a minor cannot be a prostitute. There's no such thing. A minor cannot...
The ones who were Epstein were 18 and 19, and they kept going back year after year.
Well, let me ask you a question. Hang on. It's very, very important here. Now, there were a number of cases where people are claiming they were indeed minors. A number of them. And they represent a substantial fraction of those individuals bringing claims to the Department of Justice. Okay. Now, you have other people who are adults or who are not minors, but might be the subject of trafficking, perhaps through force, fraud, or coercion. And then you have other people who might have consented to this and really have no actual claim, but figure, you know what? Maybe I can get on the gravy train. Maybe I can make a few bucks. I'll give it a shot.
Right.
How do you...
And they just to get a few dollars.
And how do you...
Legally, how do we separate it?
The same way you legally separate everybody else who's involved in other similar matters. People who claim to have personal injury. People who have slip and falls. People claim that there was a fingernail or a dead rat in a fried chicken or something. They're the same way. By conducting discovery, doing pre-trial, ferreting through this and trying to find out what the particular claim was. Let's go to Morrissey in great musician, by the way. Morrissey in Pennsylvania. You're on the other side of Midnight with Lionel.
Lionel, I love you. My name is Marcy, not Morrissey.
Let me tell you something. First of all, I told you, you have this young man who's answering the phone. He can barely hear. I don't even think he speaks English. So whatever he puts up, leave him alone. You're going to be called Morrissey, okay? From now until the end of time. Marcy will look bad here. We get a lot of government credit. We have people sometimes who we had one guy. Remember the one guy who just stared. He just stared for the longest time. He didn't turn out very well, but we gave him a shot. But anyway, Marcy, Miss Priss, get my name right. What's on your mind, Marcy?
Well, I just wanted to say a couple things too. One is I drive a truck and I'm drinking coffee too at 3 o'clock in the morning, just like you.
Now, what do you drive? What kind of rig?
Oh, I drive a big giant tractor trailer.
And what do you
I'm
haul?
driving right now.
What do you haul?
We haul computer equipment, like storage data, computer equipment.
Wow.
That's all we haul. We just work.
You say we? Do you speak always in the collective we? When you mean you?
When you drive with your spouse, probably.
Wow. So you drive with your spouse. That must be a lot of fun.
It is. We've been doing it for 35 years.
35 years traveling together in this truck all across the country, right?
Correct. And we do have a bigger sleeper. I will tell you that we were at Jacob Javits a few times doing like exhibit shows, and there would be people walking on the sidewalk and staring at our truck, and a couple of times we just let them in to take a look at it, and they said, these are bigger than some New York apartments what you have there. So
what is the best part of what you do and the worst part of it?
the worst part is dealing with mostly I would say getting to a place that you really shouldn't be there with a tractor trailer. That's kind of a little bit of a nightmare.
So basically, the worst part about it is breaking the law. Going somewhere where we shouldn't be.
Well, a customer might say, oh, you can get in there with a big truck, and then you get there, and they're like, no, you can't get in there.
I find your ability to thread the needle absolutely fascinating.
It is a lot of that. It's a lot of just problem solving in real time. Exactly.
Who is the better driver, you or your husband?
My husband.
Why is that?
Even though he taught me how to drive, but he is better.
Why is he better? What does he do better than you do?
He backs in,
listen, your personal life and whatever sick phrase you truckers use, this is a family show, okay? And I'm all for marital intimacy, but we really don't need to know that. Okay, whatever you do, we're going to back it in. Beep, beep, beep. I know how you've got these weird euphemisms. Give me 30 acres and I'll turn this rig around. I know the whole thing.
My husband was told that he was masterful at driving.
And you, on the other hand, are clumsy and dangerous.
Right. I'm more of the talking to the customers, making appointments, those types of things.
What do you do? Have you ever had a falling out or a moment of like a contretemps as you're driving and you're in this rig? You can't get away. You
can't. You shut the curtain and that's it. That's our separation.
You shut the curtain.
The curtain. Yes, the curtain is the separation.
Now, what about
sleeper and the front of the cab?
Yeah, let me ask you this. What about some physical, like weight gain, phlebitis, thrombosis, hemorrhoids, anything involving sitting for long, any kind of vascular occlusion? Anyway, stand by for a second. I find this utterly fascinating. Just fascinating. Or we could talk about abortion. Nah, let's don't. Our number is 800-848-9223. 800-848-9222. Again, I love what people do for a living. I love to exploit it all in the name of entertainment. Because I'm Lionel, and this is The Other Side of Midnight.
Other Side of Midnight with Lionel.
Be impeccably dressed with a Bulova Frank Sinatra timepiece on your wrist, incorporating vintage designs with the iconic elements of the legendary performer. Mr. Sinatra's fedora and his signature are some of the standout details. The collection pays tribute to Bulova and Frank Sinatra's relationship dating back to the 1950s. Mr. S wore Bulova watches throughout his life. They sponsored the Sinatra Show. Today, Bulova honors Frank Sinatra and watches named after some of his most beloved songs, like Summer Wind, Young at Heart, Fly Me to the Moon. These timepieces come in both self-winding automatic or quartz movements, beautifully presented in special edition packaging, inspired by a record player. Bulova Frank Sinatra watches have a classic elegance like Mr. Sinatra himself. The full collection is available at Macy's and Macy's.com. Frank Sinatra's music and styling transcends generations. Thanksgiving and the holiday season is approaching, so let's start thinking about your gifts this season. Bulova makes the perfect gift for any celebration. Go to Macy's for the full assortment of gorgeous Bulova watches. 77 WABC's Staten Island law firm of Anjuli and Gentili chime time is 3:22. For 40 years, the Staten Island law firm of Anjuli and Gentili has been helping people just like you. Call 718-816-0005 or visit aglawnyc.com. Sid and Friends in the Morning. Chief of the Portland NYPD veteran, now retired, John Shelf, talked about what he would do if he were Teskadich. If I'm her, based on my record this year in the Sanitation Commission and good reputation, I'll say big guy, I'll see you there for yourself. Listen anytime. 77WABCRadio.com and the 77WABC app. A promise. A fast one. It's The Other Side of Midnight with Lionel. On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, Lionel with you, Red Sobine, Battlefield 9, Teddy Bear, Giddy Up Go, those were the songs. Don't you think Red Sobine, Marcy, in terms of great, yes, Red Sobine was also Dale Watson, did some great truck driving songs.
Yeah, 6 days on the road.
Yeah.
Make it home tonight.
Yep,
Or I'm a truck.
and I like my truck. You also notice there's no bus song. There's train songs, there's truck songs, but there's no bus songs. Other than Roy Clark sang Thank God and Greyhound You're Gone, which is sort of a derivative. By the way, changing the subject just for a second, my wife just sent me this. There is a documentary. Remember Susan Powter, the 90s fitness guru? She lost everything. She's an Uber driver. She was worth 15. She was making $50 million. Anyway, there's a documentary. She's coming back. I don't know what happened, but Susan Powter took a powder. And anyway, I just saw this, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. We should try to book Susan Powter. Then you guys say, when do you want? I want in the morning. Okay, well, can we tape it? No, that's okay. Anyway, Marcy, enough about you. Me, what's on your mind?
Oh, I just wanted to say, I hope you're not using chapstick for your lip, because chapstick will make your lips chap more. Everybody I know that uses chapstick has multiple chapsticks everywhere. And the best thing to do is break the habit and use something else, like coconut oil.
I'm using something called 360 EVO. It's like, it's vegan, it's natural, it's olive oil, and it's just, nothing really, nothing deep. Yeah, but chapstick, remember that Susie chapstick? Remember that years ago?
Yeah, Susie chapstick.
Also was good. Vaseline works. That's great. just lather up, you know, your lips
Well,
with that.
that's petroleum. You don't want that anymore.
What's wrong with that? Listen, petroleum
What's wrong
is good. Well, listen, young lady, you be well. Call me again. How long have you been listening to us?
Oh my gosh, me and my husband are huge fans of you. We listen to your YouTube channel. We totally agree with you. That's why we love you.
Listen, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's go to Jeff in the Bahamas. Jeff, you're on the other side of midnight with Lionel.
Oh, Lionel, you are the best. You are the best.
Thank you, sir.
I thought I was getting Yuri, but I got Matt. I've never called into a radio station.
Really?
You were asked. Never. You were asked. I'm a lawyer from Florida, like
Really?
you are. And
What county?
you asked. I live in Monroe County. Anyways,
That's the keys, right?
that's the key.
Ooh-wee. I'm telling you, 67 counties. I'm in the... Okay. What do you practice?
That's
What's
right.
your...
I'm a trial lawyer, just like you.
What do you mean? What do you... Try what? Civil, criminal, what? Defense, criminal, what?
I've done it all. I'm an old guy like you. I'm on the back nine. But anyways, the reason I called you,
Yes.
is you were asking about exorcism.
Yes.
And I'm just finishing a case.
Really?
A dissolution. I'm finishing a case where I have the husband, the wife, who's a double board certified doctor, and I'm not going to use any names. I don't want to
No,
do
no,
that.
please don't.
I will not do that.
Physician, doctor?
What's that?
Is MD?
MD, yeah.
Okay.
Double board certified pediatrician and I think general practice.
All right.
But anyways, she was engaged with exorcism. I want to call it a cult, but it's kind of a thing. You can look it online. I can give you the name of that website. You can look it up. The guy who does the exorcisms posts them online. I don't know if you can get into this group, but it's fascinating. He talks to
What's it called? What's it called?
Invicta Ministries. INVICTA Ministries. Google it.
I'm doing it.
I'm telling you. Invicta Ministries. And the guy, I won't use names. You can figure it out yourself.
I'm looking right. Is Victim Ministries of Deliverance and Inner Healing?
Yes. It's fascinating.
Oh, I loved it.
I knew you would love it.
Oh, I gotta have. Oh, it's live on YouTube, teaching live deliverance.
Yes. It's all there. And this was in my case. The wife was hiding to this double board certified physician.
Well, that's her option. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's her option. That's her option.
Now,
the husband didn't care for it.
let me ask you this question. Was she at any time either involved in an exorcism or where did the exorcism work in? How
Because the ministry somehow figures out that the demons, names, Jezebel, Lucifer, are living inside of you. It's not like
I knew it.
it's living inside of you.
I knew it.
He goes through through the Bible. Listen, I never called the show before. I listen to you at night. I'm in the Bahamas now. You are brilliant.
Well, what do you do in the Bahamas? What are you doing in the Bahamas? You drug running still?
I'm fishing. Fishing. What do you do in the Bahamas? You fish.
I have no idea.
Well, you grew up in Tampa. You never come to the Bahamas?
No. Well, I did once years ago, but I was back up board. I've never, pardon me. I got some huge phlegm ball I got to dislodge from my larynx.
When that happens.
I don't know when people say larynx. They'll throw in the wrong larynx, prostrate. Anyway, but now tell me about this. How do I know at 30 past the hour, how do I know that an exorcism is not actually taking place? Or that this is not valid?
It could be valid, I suppose. I don't know. You know, you're a critical thinker. I don't know, but watch the videos and they do it. Oh, it's fascinating.
I also love the fact that whenever it's funny, number one, that if I could speak with the devil, I would say, listen, say a couple of things. Number one, when you make yourself known, you do realize that that most of the affect, most of the behavior that you exhibit is completely synonymous with and consistent with severe mental illness. You do realize this, right? Like, for example,
Yes.
when somebody is delivered or is a beneficiary of faith healing, they don't spout, polyglossia, whatever the particular phrase is. Number two, have you ever known whenever anybody, this is terrible, whenever anybody is of the spirit, and you would know this, Tony and Yuri, because Matt, you've seen it a couple of times with him, that whenever they exhibit some kind of possession of the devil, they speak this Tarzan African. There's a boom, boom,
Yeah, it's called speaking. They do that. They do that.
Right.
They speak in tongues. Watch the videos.
No, that's also glossolalia, I think is the word. But Jimmy Swaggart used to go into this thing, and it was always that Tarzan African. African is some. Remember Ladysmith, Black Mambazo, beautiful Lion King, beautiful. So these folks, it's always yelling, and also when the priest, I know there's a couple of them, he goes for the initial assessment. The first thing he does is he wants to rule out mental illness, schizophrenia, or some kind of lycanthropy, where they're a werewolf or something. And my favorite is, I have looked at Jeff here, and no, he's just crazy. which I never understood. Why is the devil? Why not just be smooth? And why does he always inhabit some 9-year-old girl in some little peasant village in, Chile or something in the? I don't understand this.
They can't write him a check. Lionel, hey, Lionel, you want to talk abortion?
Oh no.
I have no interest.
For a while, I told you. Maybe I've told others. There was a time when I was absolutely, positively, 100% smitten by online evangelical faith healers. David Paul was my favorite, but I was Slain in the Spirit by Ernest Angley. I watched them all. I knew them all. And I had friends of mine. I had a friend who was an evangelical. He was an evangelical, kind of a preacher, very well respected. We're very good friends. And he thought I was interested because I was actually of the same mindset. He didn't understand that I looked at it as a novelty, that I found it amusing. So one time we're talking, he says, it's funny, out of all the years I've known you, I never knew you were devout. I said, oh, I'm not. He said, what? I said, no, I find this entertaining. And he looked at me like heresy. There's nothing entertaining about this. Hell, there's not. Look at this. Have you ever been to a faith healing? Please find it. In Florida, you ever hear a place called Casadega? It's a city that's filled with psychics, and I find that fascinating. But I've always followed this, so I have gone to tent revivals. You have to see this. There's another one for you. In the Catholic Church, there was something called the Charismatic Movement in the 70s. Did you ever hear about that?
I did not.
The Charismatic Movement was not sanctioned by the Catholic Church. They didn't particularly care for this. And they would have to do it outside of, not really a church, but there's no, the sacristy, the host, whatever, the Eucharist. It's okay, it's not, anyway. But it could be, you could be someplace like in the woods, and they have a priest, and he does not really a mass, but something. So my friend, who was a gym owner who believed in everything, if you told him he could believe in 3 or 4 different completely inconsistent religions because he just believed it. So he was interested in the charismatic movement. So they told him, now listen, when you go there, remember, weird things happen. And he said, well, okay. He goes, no, you don't understand. This is serious. Don't go there. And he was very easily suggestible. You could tell him anything. He says, really? He says, yes. Not be surprised if you feel a power from, I don't know, Holy Spirit or I don't know what. But just prepare yourself. Oh my God. So he went there with this suggestion that something is going to happen. Okay, let me cut to the story. He's in this, he's kneeling down and they're praying. A woman got the handle of her purse wrapped around his leg. He apparently, when his leg went under the pew or whatever it was wrapped in. So she went to pull her purse, but it was attached to his ankle. So she's pulling. All of a sudden, he feels this. Now, he doesn't think, it's somebody whose, strap is wrapped around my leg. He's thinking it's the Holy Spirit. And he's yelling, it's happening. So all of a sudden, they stop. He came over, and they're like bowing in front of him, and he's screaming, and they're fighting the woman behind him, and she's yelling, no, it's my purse. Of course, her protestations were drowned out. It's one of the greatest stories ever. I find that fascinating. So let me just tell you, if you can go to in Florida they have it. If you can have an actual revival, is one of the most fascinating things you'll ever see. The spirit, or the power of the mind, the power of suggestion, the spiritual belief, I find it fascinating.
Did you ever watch the show The Amazing Gemstones or whatever with John Goodman? It's about a family that does these, and they make a lot of money doing it. They run a church. You ever seen it?
No.
Oh, John Goodman is brilliant. It's a great show. Oh my God, I don't know if it's on Netflix.
Let me tell you something. I find that I am somebody who is, I guess you would say, irreligious, but I am fascinated by religion, fascinated by faith, fascinated by what separates one from the other. And I one time did a little bit of a brief study on what is the various how do I say this? The differences between Lutheran, Methodist, Baptist.
Oh yeah, we're gonna eat some apples now. We're gonna eat 2 apples.
Most Protestants can't even tell you the difference. I'm in love with it. I respect religion. I love it. And I'm telling you, when I was a kid, the idea of the devil fascinated me more than anything. Because it's there. So by the way, very quickly, whatever happened with the dissolution or the disposition of your case with the marital case?
You know what? You want to hear something?
Yeah.
We just finished the trial. We made submissions of our proposed final judgments. We're waiting for the judge to rule. And it's a case with kids. I don't want to tell you about the book. There's no disposition yet. We're waiting on the final judgment right now.
Would you please keep us, without mentioning, please keep us up to date with this, please?
I might.
No, I'm serious.
I love you. I gotta tell you, I'm in the middle of the night. I listen on my phone, and I put it real close to my ear. Yeah, I used to be afraid I was going to get cancer of the brain, but I read that you don't get that now. But my wife is laying next to me. She hears me laughing. She goes, "What are you laughing at?" I go, "You got to listen to this guy Lionel. He's unbelievable."
But there's something about that. There's also something about laughing by yourself. Do you know that one of the things that when you laugh, see, I could do a whole the neurology, the brain chemistry of laughter. When I see a little kid laugh, and I'm thinking, versus, and by the way, when a child does not laugh, that is not a good thing. But think about what the child is able to do. Normally, the child is picking up something that is either absurd, out of the ordinary, a surprise, but something that is non-threatening. Think of the process that a child has to go through to make all these quick decisions, to realize this is okay, this is cool, no reason to be upset, mom and dad are acting funny and weird, and that's okay, and I understand it. you understand how deep that I don't know if AI can figure that out. I'm sure maybe we'll eventually. But how do you teach absurdity and laughter and humor and all of the versions of slapstick, absurd, making a mistake? Normally it's some kind of a shock, it's some kind of a control of something or other. But when a child laughs, oh, and here you are laughing. It's the greatest thing in the world. It's the greatest gift to give somebody.
Well, you've given it to me, and thank you very much.
Well, thank you. All right, my friend. Now, there's nobody better. And I've been wondering where this old Padre's been. This is Father Joseph from Pearl River. He is it's an Eastern Orthodox. Is that correct, sir?
Correct.
Very good. And I've been wondering, where have you been? I didn't want to have a welfare check, but I was going to, drive up to Pearl River and check out, make sure the Padre's okay.
Well, I listen to you, but I don't always want to call in. But I just couldn't resist tonight when we started talking about Ernest Ainsley.
Oh, please tell me.
Well, I'm originally from Canton, Ohio.
That's it. That's his country.
Well, he's in Akron,
Akron,
which is just a hop, skip, and a jump from Canton.
Yes.
And I've been to his Angels Cathedral.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It is the most weirdly entertaining thing you can do for cheap, for nothing.
Do you know how he was the prototypical when Robin Williams does this? In the name of Jesus, foul that spirit on yeah. That's him. Ew. He did this thing one time where he would stick his fingers in somebody goes, my daughter is deaf and cannot hear. And he would stick his fingers in her ear. Now she doesn't know who the hell this guy is with this look. Anyway, he stuck the fingers in his ear and he would say, foul, deaf spirit be gone. Yeah. And it would hit the head, and sometimes that's slain in the spirit. That's where the energy of the Holy Spirit comes through the palm, hits the forehead, and normally they collapse. And then he will say baby. And she would say, make any noise. She's cured. I'm thinking, wait a minute, Kurt. Ernest, hang on a minute, bud. That might be pain from having just fallen or a guttural. Do you know that I went personally and I was slain in the spirit personally? He did it to me. We were at the Curtis Hickson Hall in Tampa, and they had people came from with ambulances and walkers and hospital beds. I mean, I couldn't believe it was incredible. Now, what is the official church position or your position regarding faith healing and this type of behavior? Is there anything to it, Father?
Well, obviously there are legitimate miracles and there is healing by the power of the Holy Spirit, but it ain't Ernest Ainsley.
Now wait a minute. He is a little faith. He is a conduit. He is a conductor. Oh, perhaps maybe he may not know it as the Holy Spirit. And by the way, when did the Holy Spirit go from the Holy Ghost to the Holy Spirit? I remember I was a ghost.
About the 1970s.
Was this an encyclical? Did you get a writer in the mail? Like, by the way, be advised, we don't say that anymore.
About the only people that say Holy Ghost anymore are Black Baptists and Anglicans.
Okay. Now, next question. I think I've asked you this. I'm going to ask you again. Limbo.
Well, the Orthodox don't believe in limbo. And it was either Benedict or I think wasn't it Benedict that
You're asking me? You're asking me?
What
the hell do I know?
Well, you're up on all this stuff.
No,
I think it's Pope Benedict.
Right.
I think it was Pope Benedict that says there is no limbo.
Well, that's
And,
news to me. That there was for those who don't know, and this is interesting. For those who don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. And we're like the same age, so we're raised in the same thing. Limbo is where unbaptized babies went, or people who were born or died before Jesus, or didn't know about it, or
had no chance to be saved.
had no chance. Not necessarily. They're not. Again, they're not in hell. They're not in heaven. They're like in Cleveland. They're there.
Hey, it's the home of rock and roll. I wouldn't mind being there.
We built this city on rock and roll. Marconi played the bamba. Anyway, so what happened was, I asked this one priest, this one father years ago. It really bothered me. And it seemed so manifestly unfair. Why would God punish a child that, let's say, was stillborn? He just never had a chance by virtue of the positioning. And he said, well, it's like a thimble full of water and a bucket full of water. They're both full, but one's more. I said, no, excuse me. The bucket's got God. It's not quantity. There's no God. Doesn't God want to visit them every now and then? I really took this to heart. And the priest thought I was being a smartass. And I said, no, doesn't God want to visit them and say, listen, come here. Enough's enough. Come here. You didn't do anything wrong. Come on over. Think about this.
That was a terrible teaching of the Roman Church. I knew women whose baby died at birth, or they gave birth to a dead baby, and these, the Roman Catholic Church would not allow these babies to be baptized in a consecrated cemetery.
Oh, no.
They had at the cemetery, on the outskirts, on the very edge of the cemetery, they had places where they would bury unbaptized babies.
Really?
And this was terrible. A woman is already devastated that this child that she's carried maybe for 9 months and then gives birth to dead could not be buried, with the rites of the church, could not be buried in a consecrated cemetery. And then all of a sudden now the Pope says, oh, there is no enough hope.
See, that's my favorite. Let me say, by the by, looking this up very quickly, in Catholic theology, the term limbo has historically referred to two related but distinct ideas. Limbo of the fathers, limbus patrum, a temporary abode for the righteous of the Old Testament. For example, Abraham, Moses, who died before Christ's redemption. They awaited entrance into full heaven. And then limbo of the infants, limbus infantium, a theoretical state for unbaptized infants. I found that fascinating. And now let me ask you, what do you think of this new pope? What's your honest opinion?
Well, at first I thought he was, kind of cool. What I'm hearing and what I'm reading, and you don't know if it's true or not, I'm reading stuff on the internet that he's abolishing, ancient practices of the Roman Catholic Church.
Like what?
The first thing that comes to mind is there is no longer, according to something I've read, there is no longer a Sunday obligation of going to Mass.
What?
He got rid of the obligation.
Well, what's the... Well, oh, my God.
Well, you know what? I thought that was really stupid because I know many Roman Catholics that only go to Mass because they've been, convinced of this teaching that they have an obligation to go.
Yes.
And now that the obligation is gone, they're not going. And man, there are priests that are so upset about this.
But this is your not because you're bread and butter, but one of the things that, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the idea is that your faith, this is Catholic, is participatory. You are a part, the pastor, you are in the various what are the jurisdictional parishes, and there's the no, you must. Being a Catholic doesn't mean staying home and keeping quiet. No, keeping it yourself. It's participatory. It's celebrating. It's also getting something out of it. You're you hear the homily and here it is, and it gets communion and the Eucharist, and I can't believe that.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's true or not.
Well, okay, we'll maybe. We had a friend of ours, Father Jim Lloyd. James Lloyd. He was the oldest Paulist priest. He died recently at 103.
Oh, God bless him.
Oh, he was the greatest. He was and he was, you know how people say he was sharp as a tack. And you think, well, he really was. And we talked for so long about this. And he said, a couple of times, he goes, well, don't you want to go to church? I said, no, but I love talking the rules because I don't know if you were, I love the Catholic Church and loved my priests and loved my nuns. And that was when I was a kid. It was, I did all the, the sacraments. But I've got no beef with them. But if you don't follow the rules, what's the point? What is it? Like tennis without a net.
Exactly.
Well, anyway, last question. Any exorcisms in Pearl River?
Not of late.
Well, the day's young. Well, Father Joseph from by the way, plug your church. Tell us where we can come see you, and because you're always a great sport. Where are you, Father? Where can we?
Holy Transfiguration Church in Pearl River, New York. Just not too far from the Tappan Zee Bridge.
There we go.
And all are welcome.
Well, my wife and I are gonna come by still. The Holy Transfiguration. You can't, you can't beat that. The Transfiguration. The whole transubstantiation. All these great terms. There are so many names. Because we have a friend of ours, a family that said, where we want to name or raise our child to be Catholic. I said, well, get ready. Because you're going to get the Assumption, the Ascension, the Annunciation, the Renunciation, the sub-transit manifestation of the, you've really got to be relatively smart just to understand and keep track of everything that goes on. A lot of work involved. Father Joseph, thank you, my friend. Thank you. God bless you.
Take care.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much. We're coming up on the Lionel Show on the other side of midnight, so stay tuned.
The Other Side of Midnight with Lionel. The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Hello, I'm Marianne Kuharski with Pro-Life Across America. Did you know that a billboard can save a baby's life? When our billboards and radio ads are running, we receive hundreds of calls from those seeking pregnancy information and support. Every caller is connected to a local center offering free ultrasound and confidential counseling. Won't you join us in this life-saving effort? Donate today and help us do more. No gift is too small. That's prolifeacrossamerica.org.
What if the future of finance wasn't built around averages, but around you? At Abacus Global Management, we're reshaping financial planning around the most personal data point, your lifespan. But it's more than just insight, it's control. As a technology-driven asset manager, we're empowering investors with an integrated system to take command of your time, your future, your financial destiny. This is investing. Take control at abacusgm.com. Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Dominic Carter, City Hall.
So Mamdani came in with 0.4% of the vote. Cuomo, 41.6%. So Cuomo lost by a little bit under 9%. Mr. Sliwa came in at 7.1%. Let's just say for argument, toss that 7% to Cuomo. Mamdani's still ahead, but he'd be at 60.4. Cuomo would have been at 48.7. And momentum would have pushed Cuomo over the top. As I told you folks, all of that
you divide the numbers times 3, this candidate is going to win garbage. Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. The Other Side of Midnight with Lionel.
Alrighty, Lionel with you. On the other side of midnight, 800-848-9222. Pam in New Jersey. Pam, what's on your mind?
Well, that was very interesting.
It was.
I love it. I absolutely love it. But I have to let you know, I've been hearing everything you're saying, and now you were talking about, Methodist, Protestant, Baptist, all the religions, and I found a rabbi on the radio that will straighten it all out. His name is Rabbi Schneider. He's a Messianic Jew, and I was raised Catholic and all this, but I have to tell you what the Pope is doing and everything. You want truth? Give it Rabbi.
Wait.
A chance.
By the way, I put my money in Rabbi Potasnik. That's my
You know someone that believes in Jesus as the Savior?
I don't know. I think that would rather. I never understood the Jews for Jesus, but you're here. Yeah. How can you believe in Jesus and be a Jew? I'm just saying.
Well, that's why I'm suggesting, because you seem so open-minded. You went to all these places.
Oh, I'm very open-minded. But I think that it would seem to me, maybe I'm wrong, but in order for you to accept, like for example, you couldn't be a Muslim for Jesus, because you have to believe that Jesus is the Son of God, and I think that from what I understand, and I'm no expert in this, I don't think there's a provision of either the Talmud or any kind of Hebraic version of this that would allow it. I don't know. Maybe what do I know?
Well, you use the word fascinated.
Oh, yeah.
You'll find things fascinating.
Well, I think so, too. Let me tell you something. Remember one thing. When you listen to someone's faith, don't feel like they're trying to proselyte. Don't feel like that you're abandoning your own particular faith system. But listen with great reverence and respect. It's like hearing a different music or seeing a different type of food or a different culture. And I think we can all benefit tremendously from learning how people all follow what many people believe to be the God gene, which centers right around the parietal lobe, which we'll discuss later. The final hour coming up, and I hope this coffee machine works or I'm going to lose it. Stay tuned.
The 77 WABC's Staten Island law firm of Anjuli and Gentili Chime Time is 3:59.
The Staten Island law firm of Anjuli and Gentili, helping people just like you for 40 years. Walk with confidence. Call 718-816-0005 or visit aglawnyc.com.
This is New York's talk leader, the crown jewel of talk radio. WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays. News first at 59 past the hour. 77 WABC News starts now.
Mainly cloudy skies on this Wednesday, November 19th. Good morning, I'm Lisa Ritchie. The Senate has passed a measure allowing for the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files without a vote. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer successfully passed unanimous consent, which means the bill will automatically pass once it's delivered to the Senate from the House.
Senate has now passed the Epstein bill as soon as it comes over from the House.
Earlier today, the House passed the bill to force the DOJ to release all of the Epstein files by a 427-1 vote. Only Republican Clay Higgins of Louisiana voted no, claiming the bill would harm innocent people swept up in the investigation. Georgia Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, alongside Epstein survivors, held a press conference outside the U.S. Capitol this morning ahead of the vote.
And I want to tell you that this only became possible today because the American people, whom we serve as representatives here in Congress, demanded that this vote happen.
While the president reversed his position and urged Republicans to vote in favor of the legislation over the weekend, all of this happened after the measure received enough support to be brought to the House floor. Nassau County officials are calling for changes to New York state laws after arresting an illegal migrant who was issued a driver's license. Police Commissioner Patrick Ryder says he's part of a transnational organized crime group.
This is a group out of Romania. They're part of, they go in, we call them gypsies. They go and they pull these scams all around the United States. He's wanted in the city of New York. We're being contacted right now by other agencies around the region here. We're also being contacted by agencies outside the country.
The 19-year-old was also wanted for allegedly stealing an $11,000 diamond bracelet from a local jewelry store. President Trump met with FIFA President Gianni Infantino, saying he'll ask the soccer organization to move matches from cities with problems.
If we think there's going to be a sign of any trouble, I would ask Gianni to move that to a different city. We have a lot of cities that would like to have it, number one, and we'll do it very safely.
He also warned cities with Democratic mayors and places with high crime rates that they could miss out on hosting World Cup matches. Say goodbye to the MetroCard 400 lucky strap hangers at 16 subway stations across New York City were snatching up free OmniCards today.
Very easy. If you have a MetroCard with a valid on it already, you can exchange it in for an OmniCard.
The MTA is making a full transition to Tap and Ride next year. The 30-year-old MetroCard won't be sold after December 31st. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is shaping up to be a wicked good time, Lisa G explains.
Wicked star Cynthia Erivo will be singing the opening number for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade this year. There will also be 7 new floats, and Brendan Kennedy, creative director for the parade, tells the Today Show it takes a lot of work.
Welding, carpentry, artistry, scenic painting. We created our own paint just to make sure it was perfectly stretched out.
They used 2,000 gallons of paint for the parade, 300 pounds of glitter, and 200 pounds of confetti. In addition, there will be a special appearance from Santa. Lisa G, 77 WABC News.
This holiday season, help the 77 WABC Radio Foundation to feed those in need. Go to WABCFoundationCares.com. Join 77 WABC, AARP New York City, the Police Athletic League, Gristedes and D'Agostino Supermarkets, and Nationwide Imaging Services as we deliver Thanksgiving turkeys to more than 5,000 families across the city. On November 22nd at 10:30 a.m., the 77 WABC Thanksgiving Trolley rolls out at the Police Athletic League Harlem Center, giving back to those in need. Go to WABCFoundationCares.com. 77 WABC Cares. The Giants linebacker Abdul Carter has been benched for the team's opening series against the Packers after sleeping at the facility and missing a recent walkthrough. Carter took accountability for the incident following the loss. Your forecast overnight, mostly cloudy, a few scattered showers, the low 39. Later today, morning showers, then partly cloudy, the high 48. Thursday looks mostly cloudy with a high of 49 degrees. We have cloudy skies outside of our Midtown studios right now. I'm Lisa Ritchie. Remember, the news never stops at WABCRadio.com.
Radio 77 WABC. Ryan Kilby. Entertaining and informative. You've seen women try to compete against men. They can't. That's the way it is in sports. So when you put a man who wants to be a woman in a woman's sport, he will dominate if he's athletic. And that's the deal. When Democrats are asked, they go, well, it never happens. Well, it does happen enough. And if that's your daughter, I'm pretty sure you're not going to say, well, statistically, it's not likely to happen. Ryan Kilby. Days 10 to noon after Civic Friends in the Morning. On Radio 77 WABC.
Side of Midnight. They're running a strange program, y'all, with Lionel.
Hurry, Lionel, with you for the final hour of the State of Hours on the other side of midnight. 800-848-9222. In keeping up, if you miss any of the previous hours, I mean, I don't tell you. I don't know what's the matter with you. It's fascinating how sometimes the subjects will grow organically. But I want to bring something because spirituality is a subject which I find fascinating. And in 2004, there was a geneticist by the name of Dean Heemer. And he published a book proposing that there was a gene called the VMAT2, which influences spiritual temperament. And they called it the God gene. Not church attendance or Sunday sermons, but a built-in capacity to feel things beyond material reality. To allow you to awe transcendence and destiny and the connection of it. He said that 25% of our spiritual potential is in fact genetic. And VMAT2, however, affects how the brain handles neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, but those chemicals are linked to mood and perception, and when they spike, people often report sudden clarity or insight, near-death experiences, feelings of presence beyond the physical, moments of union with God and the universe, and even healthy people who do deep prayer or meditation sometimes show similar activity. But what I find is the most important is the parietal lobe. This is the upper back part of the brain, not the occipital. That's the back part. That's where vision is. You know where they say you see stars when you get hit in the back of the head and a punch? That's the occipital lobe, but the parietal is right next to it on the top. And it is my favorite. I mean, the frontal lobe is okay, but this is groovy. And what it does is it handles spiritual awareness, but navigation, knowing where you are in space. And it distinguishes your body from the outside world. It shows also sensory integration, touch, sight, and sound. And it gives you a sense of I, of me, when you watch a baby develop. This goes back to my developmental psych days, as a psych major with Piaget and others. They watch this because you learn how humans are by how they develop. Just like you know what parts of the brain work when damage comes to them. But the parietal lobe in a baby, as a baby develops, it builds your personal map of reality. And it decides where the border is between you and everything that isn't you. And here's where it gets really groovy. In deep meditation, or in prayer, or religious experiences, the parietal lobe activity decreases. How does that work? Well, it means that the brain temporarily stops drawing hard boundaries between self and universe. So people describe this as a union with God, or a feeling of one with everything, or the ego, the sense of you dissolving, a presence beyond physical form. And Andrew Newberg, who is a neurotheologian and brain scanner extraordinaire, found this again and again. When monks or nuns, I told you about, reach deep spiritual states, the parietal lobe dialed down like a switch. And he called it neurological signature of transcendence. And that's what we're going to call our show, a neurological switch of transcendence. Pay attention, Gary. You're not going to get this one in the FM show, I guarantee. And for good reason. Our number is 800-848-9222. Let's go back to the phones, back to the fun. Jim in upstate New York. You're on the other side of midnight with Lionel. Hi, Lionel. Hello,
Yeah,
Jim.
love the conversation tonight. Yeah, you know, AI is basically a modern version of a Ouija board. It really is. How's that? You're seeking information other than God. If you Google something, that's information put in by other humans. I just listened to a show. Person was inside in Silicon Valley, and some of these top AI nerds, they get together and they try and channel aliens, right, to make their AI more advanced, right? You can channel aliens, you can channel demons. You know, the demonic world is real. I've had experiences in my life, both demonic and angelic. Everybody has, but they don't know it.
What is a demonic experience?
Demonic experience?
Yes.
I had a fiance who was possessed. For real.
Well, I think we've all had that. Maybe not a fiance, but we've all had a woman. I mean, from what I've heard, we've all had a couple of, you know, the eyes roll back in the head spins around, flying around the room with a broom. I think we've all seen that. I don't think it's anything that unique. But what did you see in your particular case?
My particular case was, she was beautiful. I'm talking about, like, she looked like Heather Locklear when Heather Locklear looked like Heather Locklear.
Okay, not today's version. Okay,
not today's version.
It's like she looks like Kate Hudson today. It's like, no. Okay, go ahead. So what did she do?
Well, I completely fell in love with her. I had a very successful business, made a lot of money. This is back in the 90s, and I didn't see it at first. And we moved up. That version of her, and well, she had a demonic, gravelly voice would come out of her. Blasphemy.
Like a Mercedes McCaber?
Like
your
voice
mother
that came out of
the socks in hell or something like that, right?
Yeah, blaspheme God, things like that came out. They would have put your knife.
Was she drunk by any chance? Was she drunk?
She drank a little bit. This was beyond that. This was beyond that. I actually seen her, you know, she actually one time threw herself on the floor and said, Satan enter my soul, Satan enter my soul, and her face contorted.
Come on, we've all seen that. Come on, man, we've all seen that.
I've had many other experiences too. I was gonna buy a house that they were doing satanic worship in. I didn't know. You know, I found it on Craigslist, right? I called the guy up in upstate New York, and it was for $17,000 for a 4-bedroom house. I'm like, really?
That should have been a big off.
Well, I said to the guy, $17,000, because I buy and sell houses a little bit. And he goes, yeah, I'll even take 12. He comes down to 12, right? So this house actually involved murder down the road.
Now, wait a minute, stop. You know when you just said Craigslist? I thought you said credulous. I said, it's on Craigslist. Well, maybe I'm not credulous. Now, there is a law, as you know, that it is incumbent upon the seller to let someone know if there has been a murder or something, and it can only be by virtue of the fact of some type of spiritual connection to it. But
I have a farmhouse that's haunted. I'll show you a picture of the previous who lived there for 60 years.
How did he die? Was it tragic? Was it quick?
No, they were Christian people, and you know, but we actually went to we passed this farm. It wasn't even for sale. Contract on another house, and we passed this farm, and me and my wife go, God, imagine if we could buy something like that, you know. And then I found it online. Maybe 3 weeks later, I didn't know it was the same farm, and it was in contract already. It was only on the market for 2 days, and I own that farm today. But when we went to go look at the farm, we called the realtor, and I actually talked to him. He said, I called on, I said, is that the right price? And he's like, yeah, I couldn't believe it. And I said, was there any murders there? You know, I've been to the Amityville horror house.
Really?
And I have a weird picture. I bought a horse trailer on Long Island, and the guy who I bought the horse trailer from was actually baptized by the real priest who went to the Amityville Horror House in the original story. Anyway, we went to. I said, you know what? Let me go by the Amityville Horror House. And I went there and I started taking some pictures. And the people don't like it there. They yell, "Oh, stop that!" I was driving by, and we looked at these pictures later on, and everything's clear, but there's this weird spiritual anomaly that you can't. You know, I've shown it to 50 people. You can't explain it. You know, right in front of the house.
This was Kodachrome film, correct?
This was a brand new top-of-the-line iPhone.
iPhone. No, wait a minute. Hold it. Now, what I have heard, and I knew of a story years ago. I knew of somebody who worked at a drugstore when they actually had, where they would develop photographs. You know? And this one, I think it was somebody's daughter, was there, and they said, "Oh, listen, we're not going to charge you for this picture." And because apparently there was an exposure, so she pulls this picture and he goes, "No, that's it." He goes, "Well, this is a mistake." He goes, "No, look at it." And I had a copy of it. It looked, wow. I mean, it's almost like a Rorschach test. You could see a shape or whatever. But the story was they were at an event. And apparently there was a fire that was almost going out. And apparently some hoodlums or some bad people showed up. And everybody was worried. They were in the middle of nowhere, and, you know, they could see it. It's kind of like the old, remember that Dancing in the Moonlight story, but King Crimson? Anyway, so they looked up, and this one particular girl who was by the fire was not alarmed at all. And apparently the story goes that these bikers or hoodlums or bad guys looked up, saw some apparition or something that frightened them, and they took off. And at that particular time, either a camera dropped or whatever, and it is believed that the picture that was developed was what they saw. And it looks like some fiery apparition, some fiery figure, but they all assured the person that the fire was out. So anyway, and they said it was Kodachrome. That Kodachrome, some particular film, can pick up certain frequencies, wavelengths, energies that the normal eye cannot, or that the human eye cannot. So that is that. Do you feel like maybe you have a predisposition towards this type of, like there's and I'm very serious. There's almost like an antenna or something that attracts.
Hold on a second. You there?
I'm here.
Yeah, I've had them since I was young. And, well, I'll tell you a story. My grandfather was like a larger-than-life type guy, you know, World War II, Purple Heart vet, you know, motorcycles, you know, made his way out to Nevada, you know, race cars, had his own bar, you know, and I never met him. And the night he died, he was coming home from a bar, and they made a curve in the road, like temporary construction, and they were going to take this big tree out. It was Memorial Day weekend. He's coming home at 100 miles an hour drunk, and he hit that tree at about 100 miles an hour, was killed instantly.
And you knew at the moment it happened.
No, I was 2 years old.
Stick with my story, damn it. I got a better story than yours. Stick with mine. I'm kidding.
No, my story's better. My parents heard me talking to someone in my crib, you know, in my bed, talking to a man, and my father was like, "I'm the man." I'm talking to somebody, and my father got a phone call like 10 minutes later that his father was just killed out in Nevada that night. You know, from then on, I mean, I like buying houses, you know, that are great prices. A lot of them have spiritual issues. That house I was telling you about, the satanic worship, I said, yeah, I went to go there the next day. I took my 2 granddaughters with me, and I did the lockbox on the door, and there's no neighbors, just a little old cemetery next to the house. Oh, yeah, very creepy.
Oh, I love cemeteries. I love cemeteries now.
I opened the door,
Wait a minute,
walked in.
stop for a second, Stop for a second. I'm going to push you on hold for 1 second. This is called teasing it. See, you wanted to keep going. See that? Somebody yell at Yuri. He can't hear what I'm saying. Guy's got an actual ear trumpet, like in the old days. This is Lionel with you, and this is The Other Side of Midnight.
Other Side of Midnight with Lionel. This holiday season, some children will wake up to quiet homes and nothing under the tree. Since 1947, the Marines and volunteers for Toys for Tots have delivered more than 700 million toys, bringing joy, dignity, and hope to children in need across America. Your gift of a new, unwrapped toy or a donation online reminds every child they are seen, valued, and loved. Because every child deserves a little Christmas. Visit toysfortots.org to give today. If you want real American meat, born, raised, fed in America, then you want Freedom Farms. No imports, no nonsense. From their family farm in upstate New York to your family table. Fill your freezer with a whole cow or a half cow, or grab a smaller box of burgers and steaks. Go to wearefreedomfarms.com. Use promo code HAGA for $25 off your first order. Go to wearefreedomfarms.com. Promo code HAGA for $25 off your first order. Freedom Farms, real meat from real farmers. Donate this holiday season. Join 77 WABC, AARP New York City, Christini's, and D'Agostino supermarkets, nationwide imaging services, and the Police Athletic League as we deliver turkeys to more than 5,000 families in need. Donate now. Go to WABCFoundationCares.com. For just $50, you can feed a family in need. That's WABCFoundationCares.com. This Saturday at 10:30 a.m., the 77 WABC Thanksgiving Trolley rolls out at the Police Athletic League Harlem Center, giving back to those in need. 77 WABC cares. The 77 WABC's Staten Island law firm of Anjuli and Gentili John Time is 422. For 40 years, the Staten Island law firm of Anjuli and Gentili has been helping people just like you. Call 718-816-0005 or visit aglawnyc.com. The Other Side of Midnight with Lionel.
Excellent. Siri, this is where we play the music to comport with the subject matter. This is Ghostbusters. Somebody's playing it. I can't do that thing with it. I don't know. Can you hear me? The tax credit. I did, of course. Jim is with us. Jim, let me, before we go on, I'm going to explain something to you. I believe, are you there with me, Jim? Are you there? Or are you going to?
I'm absolutely here. I'm here.
Okay. I believe that whenever a million people say something, there's something to it. Oh, when people throughout history, from every corner of the world, through every period of time, they've always, not everybody, but very large numbers, have repeated something along these lines. Now, Jim, you're listening to us on something that is called radio, either radio waves, or maybe it's online, or it's something. But if you did not have that particular receptacle, if you did not have a radio, or did not have an iPhone, did not have an app, you would swear this show and I did not exist. But because you have the ability to pick up that signal, I am very much here. You hear me, you talk to me, you laugh, but were it not, if nobody else has that particular device that you have, with the app, or the radio, they're going to think you're crazy, because they don't know what you're talking about. That's what I think the spiritual realm is. I believe it is there. Some people might be making it up. Some people may be delusional, but I am absolutely, positively, 100% convinced that it, whatever this thing is called, ghosts, apparitions, spirits, it exists. And it has always existed. And the idea that everything here is the corporeal, the actual physical, the somatic, the body, is ridiculous. So I think you're onto something. I also think, Jim, that you were given an antenna. You were given an app. You given a radio antenna or something that makes you not only predisposed but tuned into this, whereas other people don't. I believe that to be true. I don't think you're making this up.
Well, I like to write a book. I'm a whole life insatiable learner, and I try to take it from an analytical perspective. Religion was created by man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a Christian by faith and by what I know has happened in my life. And just from an analytical perspective, Bill O'Reilly wrote that book, Killing Jesus, from an analytical perspective. You know, Jesus, these things that Jesus did were witnessed by hundreds and thousands of people. You know what I mean? Where my farm is like, you can throw a baseball to a religious site for the Mormons. Joseph Smith was a con man, a con man. If you look at his history, he was a con man nut. And they used Christianity and Mormonism, right? And, if you do a deep dive into it, he's a con man nut. He married his wife right down the road from my farmhouse.
But he found,
Mormons,
remember he found the gold tablets or whatever. Now listen, I'm not going to tell a Mormon that their founder is a nut, but I can understand why you might say that. Now, tell me this: does your wife share any? This is not the devil temptress, the devil woman, right? This is not the evil spirit.
No. Even how we met was by faith. I got out of that relationship, and I was on my own for a year. And I was up at this ski bar up in the Poconos, and I'd never been there before. And this cute little blonde started flirting with me, and she wanted to go to another bar. Normally I'd go, and I'm like, nah, I'm good, And I stayed there, and my wife now, she worked up at Camelback ski area, and she came in, and the bar was packed. And she tapped me on the I'm sorry, my alarm went off on my phone. And she tapped me on the shoulder, and we started talking, and we've been together ever since. But the thing
so
was,
your wife interrupted you. Wait, you were going to have your way with this cute little blonde, as you say. And your wife interrupted that?
I normally would have took off with this cute little blonde.
But
something kept me there. But a week before, she was in bad relationships previously. A week before that, she was taking a bath in tears, saying, God, please just let me meet the right person. I'm tired of, these horrible relationships. One guy molested her daughter.
Oh, my God.
And we've been together ever since. And normally she was pretty, but she came with 3 kids and baggage, and I was done with baggage. You know what I mean? And, something just said, give her a chance.
Now, that is not... No, wait. That... I mean, I can say that about the way I met my wife, that, Fate and Kismet, remember Clotho, Lakeithus, and Atropos, the 3 fates and everything. And sometimes there is something that we have to... How do I say? Let me give you an example. If I were to give you 6 cards, and just say, here, 6 cards, and you say, great, what is this? Do you know what the odds of getting those 6 cards? Over 14 trillion to 1. Those 6 cards in that order. Now, because it didn't mean anything to you, so what? But every time you turn around, you're doing something where you're beating odds that didn't mean it. It has to mean something a priori. I'm not going to argue about fate or whatever, but I'm going to go back to the devil and the evil and that kind of thing. Does your wife have any kind of predisposition to this sentience that you have, this spiritual cognition?
Yeah, not to the degree that I have, but she experienced the same haunted things in our farmhouse. When we first went to the farmhouse, we got there before the realtor, and the house was vacant for 2 years, winterized and all that. And we actually heard footsteps in the house, and nobody was there but us. And then, like I said, we made the deal on the house, and she's looking at the realtor's pictures, and you can see the face of a little old lady looking out the master bedroom window, and this house was vacant. So at the closing, we're like, we thought the house was vacant. They go, what? I said, who is this? They go, oh my God, that's Marge Seacrest. She was a pillar of the community. And like, oh my God, I Googled Marge Seacrest, and that was her face looking out the window. And the first thing,
first of all, it's 30 past the hour. I have to say that. Now, somebody told me something. I had a fellow that I knew and he lived in Florida. And he had a place kind of, it was like yours, and he said, one of the things you have to remember is that you will never bother, you will never meet a ghost or anybody who is involved in, how do I say, they have to have died usually suddenly, tragically, brutally, so they are not, they have not left yet. You will not see, for example, you will not see a person, if this is an apparition or whatever it is, of somebody who died peacefully, like in a hospital, or whatever. But you will see them, for example, at prison, a mental hospital, or when there is a murder scene. So when people normally die, sold the story, maybe this is not true, but if they die peacefully, normally, naturally, it's no big deal. You don't see this. The apparition of the spirit is somebody who has not left, does not want to leave.
That's their perspective. God works in mysterious ways. A lot of that stuff in insane asylums and jails, that's demonic. That's demonic. A lot of, I follow Catholic exorcists too. Father Dan Rehill, Father Carlos Martin, Chad Rippinger. What was one of the most famous overnight radio shows? Art Bell with Father Malachi Martin.
Art Bell, we all remember Art Bell. And Malachi Martin, that changed our life. I am not in any way going to get near that, but this, believe it or not, in many respects, is dare I say, a radio simulacrum of that event. Now, let's talk about the evil. Whatever happened to this devil woman, this she-devil that you tossed, this lunatic who was on the ground yelling, Satan?
My world went south. I didn't go bankrupt, basically. And I was working 2 jobs back to back. I was driving double tractor trailers at night, and I was driving a liquor truck in the day. I constantly fall asleep behind the wheel. I totaled 2 cars 3 weeks apart on Route 80. I fell asleep, went into the center divider, and ended up in the hospital. 3 weeks later, I fell asleep and went under a tractor trailer in a Subaru station wagon.
Oh my!
Obviously didn't get crushed, but I got messed up. Ended up in the hospital. I called her from the hospital. I said, "You're not going to believe this." I totaled the car. I'm in the hospital. In a cold, snake-like voice, she said, "Oh my God, we have to get more life insurance. What would happen to me if you were killed?" That broke the bond.
That'll do it.
I moved her back to her. I said, "Look, you're not happy up here." I moved her back down to New Jersey. I was giving her money.
New Jersey. Say no more.
I'm from New Jersey originally. I moved her back to her house. She hooked up with some other guy, and then I was on my own for a year. And it was one of the happiest years of my life. Me and my bulldog. You know what I mean? No.
Did you ever find out where she is and this poor guy? Like, for example, did you ever do an obit church?
No. I looked her up on Facebook a few years ago, and she looked like a haggard old witch, and she was still alive.
She looked like Pearl Haggard, which is stuffing up. Now,
she was so beautiful. When we went out to bars and stuff, all the guys would look at her. You know what I mean? Like beautiful. And when I looked her up a few years ago, she looked like a haggard old.
You know what is interesting? It's almost as though the spirit, evil, the demon, whatever it was, it burst, it surfaced, and it corrupted her beauty, her pulchritude. Now let me ask you, what do you explain to me? I'm a novice. Explain to me this idea of evil. Is it Satan? Is it Lucifer? What do you call it? Explain this.
It's definitely Satan. Lucifer was the angel of light when he rebelled against God due to his pride.
From the Latin Lucis, yes.
He fell. Now he is Satan, the devil. And yes, in his minion, third of the angels fell. I truly believe that. And yes, they're here on earth. That's why Catholic priests baptize a baby when they're born. Other religions baptize you, when, which I'm both. I was baptized as a Catholic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's very interesting because they also ask the godparent, "Do you renounce Satan?"
Yes. Now the Catholic Church, there's evil and corruption there. I don't like it. I don't like. Yeah, well, even Father Malachi Martin left the Catholic Church because he's seen that there. and he moved to New York City, and he had to report to a bishop still. Like, they have the apostolic authority in their, with exorcism, like the priest has to get the permission of the bishop, who, from the cardinal all the way down from the disciples who Jesus gave his, gave the power to exorcise demons. But I've been to almost, not every, but many Christian churches. I started going back to church in 2012 in this big Pentecostal church, and I fell into it. And it was a lot of nonsense. The family there lived high on the hog, a lot of money, TV cameras, and, when they're talking in tongues and they're touching people and they're falling to the ground, he touched me, I would just look at him, and, talking in tongues, the day of Pentecost, glossolalia came over them. Yeah, they didn't talk in gibberish. All the languages could understand each other the day of Pentecost. This talking in tongues, I've been in many, I've met very good people at Pentecostal churches. Many churches many churches I've gone to, you see, there's something off with the pastor.
By the way, did you know that in 1999, Father Malachi Martin died after what was described as sudden fall? Some say he was pushed. Some say he had been warned. He once told a friend, quote, "If I ever die by accident, don't believe it."
Suppose he's living with a woman who was controlling him somehow. There's a story. He was living with some woman who was controlling him somehow. I think to the best. I don't like the dude. He's accepting LGBTQ. I know a lot of gay people. They're nice people. I don't accept that lifestyle. In the Bible, it's specifically against that. I used to work in the entertainment industry. There's a lot of gay people, in the gay industry. In the gay